Astra Abyssosk. Recently, the Adventurers Guild has received an unusual
The Traveler would be the most suitable...
Indeed, I will spare the pleasantries then. May I? Well, let me go over it briefly. Our client for this job is the
Rift Hounds? A Narb?
Yes. We are not sure where exactly these creatures come from. The sacred Sakura is of tremendous importance to Ina. Good. Then you can see...
Is the Tenryu Commission aware?
Yes, and they are already taking action of their own. However, given that the sacred Sakura's roots, their main priority is to protect the civilian population, so they are actively looking to cooperate with all other available forces to eliminate the monsters. The Adventurers Guild is one of the key parties assisting the Tenryu Commission with their work. But so far, the combined... You have our deepest gratitude. Your confident response puts me far more at ease. I will mark on your map the areas where Rift Hound appearances have been recently reported. I hope you won't encounter...
Relax. We'll be back before you can say...
That place isn't even worth mentioning. Try some creative cooking.
The sacred Sakura is in danger again! Keeping the sacred Sakura safe was Kazari's greatest wish, and now these mangy mutts are trying to destroy it! Time to teach him a lesson! They're attacking the sacred Sakura! Stop them! Royal decree! Nice and spicy!
To dust!
Shadow Raven! Let night fall! Time for takeoff! Eat this! Here we go! Oz, reveal thyself! Out of the frying pan, into the bucket!
Quick!
Yahoo!
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
Here we go!
No rest for the wicked.
Think you can get away? Wow, there are so many of them! No wonder the Tenryu Commission needed help! Come on, Traveler, you can take them! Decree!
Terra Smash! Yeah, to dust!
Here we go! Shadow Raven!
Torn to oblivion!
Shogun?
Oh, it's you two. It has been a long time. We have not seen each other since the...
Okay, sounds more like A. It is you, right? You sure made short work of them! That was...
I'm making early preparations. Last time we took a walk around Inazuma together, I witnessed since then. Every time I encounter an
Makes sense. You must get super...
Might I remind you that I am not here recently. I have observed a number of changes in the... I considered this matter worthy of my attention. If the Shogun, rather than I, were to discover them...
Why?
Precisely. According to the rules I designed for her, but Rift Hounds attacking the sacred Sakura.
A disaster?
Yes. 500 years, everything was engulfed in a pitch-black fog, and monsters ravaged the land. The monsters committed many atrocities on Inazuma. Their duty was to tear open a passage through space with their claws. So you've heard of it, too. That's an episode of history that I am loath to recall. But an excess of caution is not...
Guess you can't argue with...
Since we are both here for the same reason, from the traces they've left in the surrounding...
Paimon feels so safe when we're in Ace. Oh yeah, after we've dealt with the monster... This color! It's similar to the color when the sacred Sakura takes damage. Let's follow it. It should be this way.
We are lucky. The damage is not too serious.
This stuff that's flowing out, is it sap or something? And how come it's glow? Huh? What's this? Could they be dead people? But
Let's search the area. Perhaps we will find out.
I can't go on like this. Not when the other troops are counting on me.
what happened here? Could you tell us?
Who are you? What are you doing here? Run quick while you still can. The monsters will be back. And once you're in their sights, we will defend Inazuma. You don't know? Beasts and horrifying monsters are everywhere. They're every last trace of humanity's existence.
But look, none of that seems...
Not right now, but they'll be back. Look, the almighty Shogun is gone. So is Kitsune Saigu. I don't know how long we can hold out for. But if we abandon our...
Don't worry, I'm right here.
It's... the Shogun? You're back! Please, we beg you. You have to help us. You have to save Inazuma. Only the glow of your supreme lightning can dispel this terrible darkness. Please.
Calm down. The war...
Over. But
Look around you. The grass grows green and lush, and a soft breeze blows. There are no monsters. Nor is there anything...
what? But how? I saw them tear my comrade to shreds with my own eyes.
Hey, calm down. Everything's fine now.
I think I understand. Yes, we were right to place our trust. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, thank you.
What's wrong with him?
He's gone.
Paimon can't even begin to understand what that...
If I am not mistaken, what we just saw, the sacred Sakura can absorb and purify an entity formed with strong filth. Purified filth quickly dissipates and will be...
So the memories of the ones that died are all appearing?
Yes. That soldier was one of the many thousands who made the ultimate sacrifice. Yes. Inazuma was facing many great crises at that time. The disaster in Inazuma caused me great concern. I felt, but my friend, Kitsune Saigu, reassured me that I had not... I could tell that, although neither of us acknowledged it...
So, Inazuma was attacked at...
Indeed. Countless monsters suddenly appeared throughout all of I never had the chance to see her one last time. But even then, Inazuma was left more devastated than we could...
Hey!
Yes. For all my martial might was in vain. Though I could... But... after my clash with human ambition, when I traveled around Inazuma with you, I caught a glimpse of how the nation has progressed over the centuries. Moving forward inevitably invites further Just think of that soldier. Despite all the losses all those who sacrificed themselves back then, gave their lives as Inazuma's god. It is high time I honor warriors of the past, who spilled your blood on. I will never forget you.
He's taking all this pretty hard.
Come on.
As expected, there are a load of Rift Hounds here too!
Leave them to me. Inazuma shines eternal! Illusion shattered! There is no escape!
Huh? Something seems wrong with A.
Why would you ask that?
Well, usually you'd pull out your sword and...
You are unduly concerned. Although I have some understanding of the situation, I must be prepared for anything. If there are more formidable monsters lying in wait in this...
Ah, makes sense. The roots seem pretty badly damaged this time. Hey, the same light is leaking out again.
Furuyama? Is that you?
Almighty Shogun, what brings you back so soon? I thought you were off fighting a battle in a...
Fighting a battle in a distant land? Sounds like...
Allow me to introduce Furuyama. Though blind, Furuyama is unparalleled in his ability to...
Your Excellency, you shower me with praise undeserved. I have simply had the good fortune to be in... It sounds like the Almighty Shogun has brought a guest. I'm afraid I'm unable to serve you any respectable refreshments. After all, it's quite a mess.
What should we do? Oh, yeah.
I see. So, they have fought their way this far already. Most of the residents in this neighborhood have already escaped. They wanted to take me with them, but it seemed... And now the Almighty Shogun is here, I have even less reason to run away. Imagine if this was something that even the Almighty Shogun was powered. People flee out of a desire to live on. But me, I have no such thoughts. The Almighty Shogun often speaks to me about just listening to her stories. I've been blind for many years, but her vivid description... One thing she always says is, good things don't last forever. Everything... So you see, as bleak as things may be now, I have experienced...
Perhaps.
It won't be long now before I have to say goodbye to the Almighty Shogun for the last. But I suppose it doesn't matter. Everyone says that Inazuma has turned... Once this catastrophe is over, life is sure to spring forth anew. But even if I... Oh, goodness me. Speaking of befuddled, look at... The Almighty Shogun comes to visit and I don't have the tea ready. One moment, I'll just... I hope the others did...
Can't see a tea...
Really? But it's always been right by my... I couldn't possibly have my guests fetch it themselves.
Don't worry about it. Take a rest. We'll be back...
Almighty Shogun, you're not going too, are you? No. Your humble...
This place is... complicated. Leave it to us.
But... Well, okay. I can't decide whether it's a final regret.
Where should we go to find a tea set? Having a cup of tea isn't exactly the most urgent...
I'm also feeling very nostalgic for his team.
It's the Traveler. And the almighty Shogun. How might I be of assistance, Your Excellency?
I wish to borrow a tea set from the Yashiro Commission.
Oh, sure. I'll fetch, please step into the courtyard and have a rest, almighty Shogun. Oh, and I'll inform my lord about—
Be at ease. I'm not here to see Commissioner Kamisato. Actually, I'd prefer to
No. I am your humble servant. I daren't think of my own convenience when the almighty Shogun graces me with her presence. I'll deal with it right away.
Well, it's not often we have the chance to chat. I'm sure you might—
Right. Paimon wanted to ask that too. The almighty Shogun that he described didn't sound anything—
I seldom had the time to drink tea. Any free time. So, in the vast majority of cases, the one he made tea for was the former elect. He may well have had an inkling about there being two, right? The philosophy of life that he shared with us just now, that was Makoto's view.
You and Makoto had pretty different—
Indeed we did. It, in her eyes, the most precious things in this world, they are similar, but not identical. When you came charging into the plane of Euthymia, I saw you. Now, it seems
Wow. There sure was a lot—
Makoto saw a bigger picture than I did. In her, an ambition is a yearning for something material, or a— Makoto was more concerned with the force that drives humans to constantly generate new ambitions in the first place.
That's, quite a lot to—
To put it simply, Makoto— I didn't understand at the time. How can we— I suppose what it comes down to, yes, it does. But in the last analysis, Makoto's philosophy was on the—
Do you feel you're starting to
You have already witnessed my previous views on it, but now I no longer cling to—
Almighty Shogun, I found a tea set.
It's quite beautiful.
You are too kind. A humble servant such as I does not deserve the gratitude.
It's all good, sir. She's actually—
Let us return. We ought not keep Furuyama waiting too long.
Hey, where'd he go? He wouldn't have gone looking for a tea set and—
Or perhaps
So we won't— We didn't even have a chance to say goodbye.
the information held in the ley lines is complex and disorderly. Well, this chance won't come often, and we do have a tea set. I've watched Furuyama brew tea on many occasions. The tea is ready. Please. So many thoughts were racing through my head as I was brewing it. You're right. But the things we've seen today, I've been reminded of many people, too. Kitsune Saigu, Mako. Back at the Yashiro Commission, I kept the conversation reasonable. The events of 500 years ago. Not only—
She died in that disaster too?
Yes. She was— Unlike me, Makoto was no martial artist. But this time— Yes. She had already lapsed into unconsciousness by that point. So all I could— It was there that we bid each other a final farewell. Why did she go to Conria first? And it was there and then that I resolved to pursue eternity.
That's quite a—
When I returned to Inazuma, I was shocked to find that a great sakura— That's exactly what everyone back then told me as well. That it had existed since no one questioned it. and yet its presence contrasted so stark. In the end, I simply had to accept with the help of the sacred Sakura's power.
This is all really hard to understand.
Yes. I once told myself that I would never speak of, but even the tea that is most bitter to the tongue, and it's time I came to terms with it all.
Oh, while we're on the topic, since you
Sister? You mean to say that she was somehow involved in the Conria disaster?
based on what we've learned so far,
I'm sorry. I wasn't there for the whole thing. By the time I arrived, and also, my mind was consumed entirely with the plight of Inazuma, and the fate of those closest to me, so I am afraid I can't help you.
Oh, well, boy, both of you have
With this last cup of tea, let us honor the Tea Master's memory. Thank you, Destiny, for giving us the...
We should go. Let's keep following the traces.
Very well. Based on my investigation so far, I believe this next pack of monsters should be the last. Once again, please...
Hey!
Shine down!
Are you alright?
I'm fine. Torn to oblivion! Shine down! There is no escape! Shine down! Now you shall perish! My apologies.
Don't worry about it. Just take a... We'll deal with the monsters. Look, that's the same light again.
Where am I? Who are you? Almighty Shogun, you're here too! Are you injured, Your Excellency? We, the Shogunate Samurai, will defend the Shogun until the very end.
Come on, man. They're coming back.
Don't!
Danger is our duty, ma'am.
No need to worry, Almighty Shogun. When the situation looks
Is that a vision?
It certainly is. I know the gods are omnipotent. If the Almighty Shogun is in trouble...
So that's how samurai of that era understood visions, huh?
Nobody knew where Your Excellency had gone, and we were starting to despair. But now, just the sight of you appearing before us once more, this hope is the light that will...
Everyone, on me!
We'll help too!
Huh? Affirmative, but watch your backs.
Protect the Almighty Shogun!
Time for takeoff. Wings of darkness! Come, sever night from day! No ingredients for me today! Hey, yeah! Oz, reveal thyself! Boba, get them! Midnight Phantasmagoria!
Terra Smash! This is not the end.
It seems like their attacks are finally over.
I've never fought so fiercely before.
Thank you all.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
You fought phenomenally. It was truly awe-inspiring. The monsters will definitely come back. And when they do, it'll be more than a few Rift Hounds this time. Quickly, escort Her Excellency back to Inazuma City, and regroup with the General's forces as soon as possible.
When everyone sees the Almighty Shogun...
Well, what are you guys gonna do?
We will stay here and guard against the monsters' advance. We are brothers in arms. As long as we stick together, we can face any...
Just leave it to us. Fighting is what we do, but the Almighty Shogun is the only one of us with the power to change the present. No matter what kind of threat faces Inazuma, we will always...
Thank you all very much. I promise you that I will create a... I should not have left it this late to make this promise.
Don't worry, Your Excellency. We will never die. With you leading us, we will claim back everything that Inazuma has lost.
Glory to the Shogun!
Glory to the Shogun!
They're gone.
It was both. The people's sacrifice has always caused me immense pain. But in dwelling on the tragedy, I overlooked their splendor. The grief blinded me to how brightly they shone in their final moments. The result being that in the centuries since their sacrifice, I have dishonored their will. You could take the view that whatever I say to them is meaningless, because they are but disembodied memories held in the ley lines. But even so, they are due a resolution. I owe it to them and to all the people who have placed their faith in me to date.
Well, Paimon thinks that even if it's a few hundred years later, you're doing right by them now, and that's what counts.
Thank you for your comforting words. But this is my basic duty as Inazuma's Archon. And I have neglected it for far too... I used to think just like that samurai. That I was... But what Inazuma needs, even though I am utterly unlike Makoto, and can never become the person she was, I still need to... Yes, they are. They are strong and resilient, as the Raiden Shogun they revere.
Well said. Sounds the...
Change will come to Inazuma, and with it, new, no matter how long it takes. I am... Now that we've dealt with the Rift Hounds, this matter is halfway resolved. I will leave the Tenryo and Yashiro commissions to hand...
Alrighty then, let's move... It looks calm on the outside, but Paimon bets her emotions must be all over the place right now, huh? She seems to have changed a lot since... Huh? What's wrong, eh? Come on, keep up! What's going on? Are you feeling unwell again?
It looks like... No need. I need to go to the cave below.
Why? What's in there?
A battleground. One where I... We're finally here. The end.
Whoa! Where'd that Torii gate come from?
It's getting worse again. This is a place I want.
Huh? What are you talking about? And who is she? Mako? Where are we Whoa. This place... Look, it's another A!
We meet again, traveler. This body is an assistant to the One Within. But should the One Within wish to stray from the rules, this body shall stand in her way.
Wait! Paimon knows that voice! Is that... the puppet?
You have wandered the realm in my body, and you appear to have grasped the true. You believe your present self has greater certainty than your former, but have you really been enlightened with new ideas? Or I'm here to show you my answer. We are both warriors, and the dialogue we must now have.
Wait! The atmosphere in here just took a turn. Are you?
The discomfort I was experiencing earlier was, as she indicates, once I started entertaining the idea, but inside a realm of consciousness, I exist independently of her. Though she is a puppet, the Shogun has her own consciousness too. When necessary, she appears here to confront me.
Paimon gets that everyone has their internal battles and stuff, but not like this! It's a pace showdown with the Shogun?
The rules I set for the Shogun are... No. The Shogun... I would not try to change her if it wasn't...
Isn't there any other way? Can't you talk it through or something? But they both just want the best.
My form is a symbol of supreme majesty, in which has been vested power over all. It inherits A's pain. The pain of inevitable loss that comes as she moves forward. Every action undertaken, determination, courage, love. Only rules shall remain constant for eternity. Those were my thoughts when I created you. Now, they are towering obstacles. You wish to make yourself my enemy? I am your past, the everlasting law, the guardian of eternity. And I am she who promised a dream to her subjects. Raiden A. In the end, even the proud and mighty Oni maiden was cut down and disgraced. Though your blade has been cleansed of her blood and filth, never shall it shine as brightly as it once did. Strike dead! Inferior. Inazuma shines eternal! Weak. Pathetic. Illusion shattered! Kitsune sakura blossoms that once filled the skies fell to the ground as pitch-black rain. As long as the ley lights glow, the relentless erosion of time will never stop.
She's completely recovered?
Your verdict is decided. This world, a fleeting shadow. Be gone! There is no escape! The divine lightning that envelops all of Inazuma will fade silently into the clouds. There shall never be another. Never. For the rest of time. Strike dead! Torn to oblivion! Only emptiness awaits.
Have you finally defeated her?
It appears your martial prowess has not dulled. But how long can your will remain strong?
How the heck?
In this realm of consciousness, her existence is tenacious indeed. She was built to resist erosion.
Then, does that mean this is gonna be an...
Maybe. But I have to prove to her that if I don't do this, the Shogun's rules can never... This is my duty. No matter how long this battle may last. Months, years, centuries. And no matter 500 years ago, humanity proved their strength. Here in the present, They rely on their ambition to challenge wayward practices, tear them. It is about time I understand that. But if the dreams of which Makoto I fight for the everlasting future of Inazuma. However long I vow to the subjects of Inazuma during my absence.
But this means that...
Pass on my words.
Looks like we got kicked out. Oh, what do we do? Are we really just gonna leave A? She was making sense. And maybe this is the only way to change the Shogun's rules, but still... Right? Also, A can be pretty stubborn at times. But what if she gets too obsessed with winning, and she forgets why she's there in the first place? It could happen. Yeah, we should help her out, like we did last time. The quicker she gets through this, is there any way we can cut down how long she needs to spend in there? Or, you know, help her win the... Well, whatever. We can't let anything bad happen to Awa. Oh, but we also can't get in there anymore. Okay, well, first things first. We gotta find a way back in. Oh, come on, brain juice. Don't feel Paimon now. Oh, you're right. Paimon nearly forgot about her. Who knows if she really understands these consciousness realm play?
Someone's not in the best of moods. I hope you realize how lucky you are. If it was anyone else, I don't think I'd have the patience to keep...
But you're always smiling.
That was a figure of speech. Do you understand?
Oh, yeah. Something really big's happened. It's A.
Oh, okay, I see. So, A's decided to palm Inazuma off. Impossibly stubborn. Jump straight to the most extreme course of action imaginable. You know as well as I do that she's always been like this. Rushed into it without thinking. Well put. So you seem to be under the impression that I am able to offer some sort of help?
Is she playing dumb? She's doing this on purpose.
Aha. You're learning, little one. But really, the truth of all I know is that it's the foundation of the sacred Sakura. And
because Raiden Makoto is no longer alive?
Not just because of that. Anyway, we needn't worry about the details too much. It'll just be first things first. Follow. Now then, I always have my ways. It's just a question of how crafty I need to the outsider. The realm of consciousness is a very abstract In other words, even though I can't pinpoint the exact...
So, it's abstract, but has a location.
Yes, no need to try and understand it. Everything is turbulent and disordered. If you try to This is precisely why when entering the plane of euthymia, it's much safer...
What? Alright.
Suit yourself. Worst case scenario, always stand to lose.
Paimon's had it up to here with both of...
Oh. Well, if you're quite sure, then of course. Now... I say... Oh, nothing. It just seems... By the way, remember to focus Only a strong enough will can prevent... Well then, the door's open. Hop on in. I'll stay outside and provide what stability I can. I'm placing my god in your capable hands. For my sake, and for Inazuma's, please. Bring her back.
Nico, you better know what you're doing.
That's enough chatter. Get to work. Remember to focus constantly on your heartfelt wishes when you enter inside. Only if you are strong enough can I deliver you to the right destination.
You have returned. This is a duel to... It is as if we have returned to the moment when the law... Over countless battles, not once have you lost. And never had I made all enemies of eternity stand against you. You still would not. For your firm commitment to enforcing the rules, you have... You bring honor to the title. Now these two return one. Then, let this be our final duel. The conclusion to that which began 500 years. Final duel? So you're finally willing to... Stand back, traveler. I'm going to be the start of something new. The time our duels took to fight was long enough to witness the rise and fall of nations. The energy they consumed, great enough to vaporize the oceans and turn day into night. And the will they denied, sufficient to penetrate minds and crush dreams. Yet, you have endured. I will endure forever. Final calamity! The will I carry within me will never be eroded nor destroyed. In Eternity is in illusion shattered! This is the... I believed you were incapable of transcending the past. But it seems my belief... But a will that cannot be eroded has no way to embrace the future. You need not worry about the future. And you aren't alone. I know your power more than anyone else. Had I relied... Yet, my reason for fighting redefined my martial prowess. And whenever I think of this, I feel something... The blade that I inherited from Makoto... I noticed it also. Just now in the heat of battle, it seemed to unleash a new and unfamiliar power. This power is beyond the limit. This blade belonged to Makoto. Perhaps... When I clasped Muso Ishin in my hands, I had the feeling it was at once a familiar feeling and a strange one. You have my approval. Your present will is not the product of erosion. I shall know from this day forth. I won't design any more rules that can never be changed. You used to represent my past, but from today onward, you are... Makoto never saw me as a fearless weapon. You truly have changed. I understand. I shall become your shadow, just as you were once Makoto's shadow. The duties I perform will not change, but as a warrior, I look forward to the chance... It was simply a new experience for me. One that is worth reliving.
Have you finished?
Hello, A. And greetings, those who have... I am Raiden Makoto, the previous Electro Arc... Makoto? I'm so happy. You've come... I left a faint fragment of my will in Muso Ishin, so that in the... a convoluted way to reach you, but... Well... There was no time to wait for you to have a change of heart. Please forgive me, but... You never mentioned... Everything happened so suddenly. I've always felt terrible for having to entrust Inazuma to you. I should have been the one to impart these ideas to you, a little at a time, to dissuade you from your pursuit of... Did you know what was about to happen in I had some sense of it. That place... was... In my present form, I can no longer perceive time. I don't know how long we have been separated before this reunion. And I don't... But I know that this must have been an extremely arduous journey for you. Don't look down on me. See? You admit it. It was with this possibility in mind that I left a parting gift for you. Here, take it. Before my last... But it is you who must take the most...
The light turned into a seed?
The miracle tree that blesses the people, in this moment new to the world and yet to be known. When to plant it, where it shall bloom. She who brings it into being must let her heart and dreams decide. Grant it life, eh? Is it really? Eternity extends time into infinity. Dreams illuminate each moment within. When both shine in unison, the sacred Sakura blooms from the darkness, finally free from the clutches of the heavenly principles. Now the nightmare has dissipated, and reality is made whole. The vision we both yearn for is still further ahead. My only regret is that I cannot witness Inazuma's future, nor can I walk this journey with you. Do you know, A? I am so happy right now, because my final wish has now come true. Your polearm once protected me from countless calamities. For this, I've always felt indebted to you. Though I could never repay you in full, this sacred Sakura will buy you some time until you are ready to awaken and embrace the new. What do you think? Did it do the trick? This time, it really is goodbye, eh? Goodbye, Makoto.
So the A of the present planted the sacred Sakura in the realm of consciousness, and it took root in the Inazuma of the... No matter what you make of it, it's...
All of this is thanks to Makoto's power. Eternity is a concept intimately...
A place where time is meaningless and cannot be... Perhaps that is the reason why you were able to... And yet, that sense of disorderliness has now completely disappeared.
I don't fully understand yet.
Well,
I know what you mean. Perhaps Makoto got a hunt without the sacred Sakura.
I know you've always perceived there was something special. You've tried in the past to prove to me that there's a connection between...
No. But I understand...
But don't you think that
The sacred Sakura is within...
Ugh. Now...
I'm joking. That tree has been through a... And obviously, It's fair to say that very little time passed between the moment you came out. Traveler, if I'm guessing correctly. At that time, I could sense A's whereabouts. But suffice to say, time added a whole new dimension. Fortunately, your will was strong enough that the turbulence The flow of turbulence may well have been influenced by Makoto, but it...
Does that mean it wasn't by chance that...
I thought that the flow of time was the same on the inside, and my first thought was... But it turned out you had come... You too have my thanks.
A?
My body has fully recovered, and the show...
Always thrilled to hear you're in good health. After all, you saw...
I only heard her voice. I'll be fine. I have to say, she even factored my... It's all thanks to her. I just planted a seed.
Yeah, it was thanks to every...
Thank you.
Today, at long last, you and Inazuma find... Makoto and you are Inazuma's
It's rare to hear such comforting words from you.
Oh, come on. You only think it's rare.
Makoto said the exact same...
Great minds think alike, hmm? I wonder, does that qualify me to maybe? Actually, no. Forget that.
We will have to end the frivolities there. The Shogun and I will closely review the Inazuma of today to find out after that.
Really? That's huge news!
I am no longer pursuing an eternity defined by stasis. I don't doubt that many challenges lie. I'm looking forward to it.